The iDirect satellite router, or gateway, is where both coax cables will connect. LEDs on the front of the unit show system status. On the back of the gateway, connect the red transmit cable to the TX out connector and the blue receive cable to the RX in connector. Now plug the AC-DC power adapter into the gateway. There is no power switch on the iDirect modem, and the unit will turn on whenever power is available. LED lights on the back of the gateway show system power, transmitter power, which simply means voltage is present to the transmitter, and LNB power, which means voltage is present to the LNB. Boot time for an iDirect modem is just over a minute. On a typical boot up, a blinking status light shows the unit is performing a self-test before loading the operating system, which takes about 60 seconds. The RX LED shows LNB receiver status, the TX LED shows the transmitter status, net shows if there is a network connection established, and status shows the overall system state. When the RX LED is green, it means the router is receiving a signal. A dark TX LED means the transmitter is not yet enabled for normal transmission. Net is blinking amber because a network connection has not been established. This status display of RX green and TX dark is typical of what an installer will see prior to calling the NOC for a final cross-pol and activation of the satellite link. If the RX LED is blinking amber, there is one of three problems. The receive coax cable is disconnected, or the dish is not pointed correctly, or the iDirect configuration is not valid. If this is the case, check your cables and make sure the dish is pointed correctly before calling support. On the back of the gateway, if there is a red LED on buck power or LNB power, there is a short in the receive or transmit cable. Prior to calling the NOC to activate the link, we need to run the iSight program to access the iDirect gateway. Plug in a crossover Ethernet cable into the computer. The X on this cable denotes crossover, which is an Ethernet cable that allows for a direct connection between the gateway and a laptop computer. Plug the crossover into the LAN A port of the iDirect gateway. The laptop network settings will need to be configured in order to communicate with the gateway. This information can be found on the LAN setup section of the customer sheet. In Windows 7, open up the control panel and double-click on Network and Sharing Center. Locate and click on Change Adapter Settings, and then select Local Area Connection. On the Properties window, double-click on the Internet Protocol version 4 to open the configuration window. For Windows XP, double-click on Network Connections from the control panel, and then right-click on the Local Area Connection to select Properties. On the next window, double-click on the Internet Protocol TCP/IP. The network configuration screen is identical for both XP and Windows 7. First click on the Use the following IP address and fill in the boxes using the information from the customer information sheet. The connection should now be established. From the CD-ROM, open the iSight folder and then double-click on the iSight program. When it runs, it will attempt to locate and connect to an iDirect gateway, which will appear on the top right-hand corner. Right-click on the gateway and then select Login. On the Login window, click on the Admin Radio button and enter in the default gateway IP address. The password is capital P, the @ 55, lowercase w, 0, lowercase r, lowercase d, exclamation point. Press Enter or OK to bring up the iSight status window. Select Configure from the menu option, then Align Antenna, then Cross-Polarization. The cross-polarization window will appear. Once this window is open, the installer may contact the NOC for system activation. When speaking with the NOC, make sure to have your customer information sheet available. They will ask you for the modem serial number and the circuit ID. The NOC is able to see the connection strength of the installed satellite system. Normally, they will ask for slight adjustments to the skew to see how well the system was pointed. Sometimes they will ask to move the azimuth or elevation slightly, but this is the exception to the rule. The NOC will ask you to enter a frequency on the cross-polarization window open on the computer. They may also ask you to adjust the transmission power up or down. Pressing the up or down arrows will adjust the signal strength by half a decibel meter. Press Start only when asked by the NOC to start the cross-polarization test. Never press without permission. Also, press Stop only when requested by the NOC technician to finish the session. At some point, the NOC technician will give you the go-ahead to lock it down, which means tighten the bolts on the skew. Once the NOC sees the system is stable, they will activate the link and normally end the call. Of course, now is the time to tighten everything else down. Make sure to tighten the azimuth pivot bolt, the elevation pivot bolt, the azimuth adjustment nuts, being careful not to move the dish, the top elevation adjustment nut, since the bottom nut is under pressure, as well as any other bolts on the entire satellite system. Take your time and make sure that everything is fully tightened. To confirm the link is active, all 5 of the gateway LED lights should be a solid green. You can test the link by doing a ping test, such as to the primary DNS address. Or you may simply open up a browser and pull up any website address. We certainly hope this installation video has removed some of the mystery of installing a larger satellite system. Know that if you run into problems, Ground Control is always here to support you 24/7.